Welcome back. We love talking about paranormal activity on the show, not the movie. I can't stand the movie, but the real thing. Thank you, Kendall. And our next guest has written a book about helping spirits and ghosts cross over. Please welcome to our show the author of The Spirit's Way Home, Natalie Fowler. Hi, Natalie.
Good morning.
Natalie, okay, I'm fascinated with you for several reasons, because on my card here, it says, former soccer mom and lawyer turned psychic medium. I've been doing this a long time. I've never had that written about a guest. So as quickly as you can, how did you do this? How did you go from being a lawyer to a psychic medium?
Well, actually, I should add that I still am a soccer mom, which makes this a lot of fun.
Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But yes, it was an interesting transition that actually took quite a while, as you might imagine. When I was a little girl, I was just fascinated by ghost stories. And I was always the kid at the campfire that could just never get enough. But what I was looking for in a ghost story, I could never actually find. When you're hearing a ghost story, they're often told by the perspective of how scary it is to have a ghost in your house, or how scary it is to see a ghost.
Yeah.
And I always thought it would be equally scary to be the ghost. So that was just something I was always looking for. I thought it would be scary if you were supposed to go somewhere that you and couldn't, and what was that like? And so it just, my life actually took a very practical route.
Yeah.
And I went on to law school, and I was surrounded by all these really concrete and rational thinkers. And it actually gave me the idea for a creative piece. I thought it would be really interesting to take a character who is trained to think logically and rationally, like a lawyer, and give them something completely irrational, like a ghost. So I started writing fiction work, and in the course of doing that, I started to realize I actually had some of these gifts myself, and they started to kind of wake up, and here I am. That's the very short version of how I got here.
Natalie, when you say this, this just fascinates me. When you say the skill or the talent or the gift woke up, what do you mean by that? Let me ask you a more specific question. What was one of the first signs that you had the gift?
You know, I actually went to a psychic myself when I was trying to get my books published. And she told me, she said, you have a lot of these gifts yourself, and pretty soon you're going to be doing readings for people and helping spirits. And I actually laughed out loud at her. And I said, wait, I like to sit in dark, creepy basements and write my own ghost stories. I don't like to actually do this work. And she, but at the same time, I took what she said very seriously and realized that it was kind of like a puzzle piece clicked into place. I realized I did have some of these gifts, and I couldn't deny them any longer. So I figured I'd better figure out what to do with that. And it wasn't long after that I started to see kind of what I was supposed to be doing with those gifts.
Well, and speaking of what you're supposed to be doing, I've been saying all morning that you just don't want to speak to them. You want to help them. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Yes, I just have a compassion. Ever since I was little, I've always had a compassion for that perspective, wanting to help them get to where they're supposed to go and not be stuck anymore. And that's actually how my gift works. Whenever I'm working with an energy that needs help, I often just get a download of the story. It's almost like somebody sticks a flash drive in me, and I get the whole story all at once. It's not like I'm seeing a movie or a vision or anything like that. I just get the whole story, and often that story comes with the things that they need to hear, or the reasons that they chose not to go to the light when they were supposed to.
So that's interesting. So it'll just hit you like and I'm not making a joke about this. You could get off this interview, and you could, because I really want to understand this. And I think people do too. The gift works like this. You would get done with this interview. You could be sitting talking to your kids, and then all of a sudden you would have this story. You would know the life story of a ghost, of their existence. Am I hearing you right?
Yeah, I have to kind of tap into it. So I think that's for my own protection. I don't just walk around in Walmart getting information about everything and everyone.
Well, thank goodness. You don't want to do that in a Walmart, let me tell you. Yeah.
No, but when I'm working, and when I'm working in this doing the work that I do, I have to, it's kind of a meditative state. And then that's usually when I get a download of information. But yes, there are some stories in the books about how there have been things that have followed me home here or there, and taps on the wall or thunks on the floor. And I wake up in the middle of the night and figure I better figure out what that is before somebody else wakes up and gets frightened by it.
Talk to me about, real quick, we have about a minute left. We have a picture. Palmer House Hotel, one of the most famous haunted places here in Minnesota. What's your opinion of the Palmer House?
Oh my goodness. The Palmer House is actually my home away from home. I spend a lot of time up there. I love everyone there dearly, both the living employees and what we've come to call the unregistered guests. There are a lot of spirits there who have chosen to stay behind, and we've gotten to know a lot of them over the course of the years. And it's just a really fun place, especially this time of year.
Well, I love this. For all of you watching, that if you're fascinated, and if you're like me, you are, for more on Natalie, her company, and her books, follow her. Natalie, thank you so much. Please come back to the show.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. For more information, go to nataliefowler.com. And I'm going to have her come to this studio because I'm sure, Kendall, there's some old producers and interns that are haunting this place.
Totally.
Yeah, I feel them.